It started with a knock at the door. A quiet, late October evening in rural Oregon. Claire Whitman, a 42-year-old mother of two, opened her front door to find a man in a sheriff's uniform standing on her porch. He was calm, polite. Said there had been a break-in reported nearby and he needed to ask her a few questions. She let him in. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. The next morning, Claire's children, ages 9 and 11, woke up to an empty house. No breakfast cooking, no lunchboxes packed, no sound of their mother's footsteps. They found the front door slightly ajar. Her car was still in the driveway, purse still in the kitchen, phone charging beside the couch. But Claire was gone. Vanished. Her disappearance sparked an immediate search. Neighbors, friends, and local police combed the area. Drones were flown. Bloodhounds were brought in. But not a single trace of Claire was found. Security camera footage from a neighbor's house captured a man entering the home that night, but only the back of his uniform was visible. The sheriff's department confirmed, none of their deputies had been dispatched to that address. Whoever he wasn't one of theirs. For months, the case stalled. The children were placed with their aunt. Claire's face went up on missing persons posters across the state. And then, 6 months later, a body was found. Burned. Deep in the Cascades, buried in a shallow grave near an abandoned ranger station. It was identified as Claire. The news devastated her family. But the real horror was just beginning. The autopsy revealed something chilling. Claire hadn't died the night she disappeared. Based on stomach contents and tissue decomposition, she had been alive for at least 3 weeks after that night. Somewhere. Hidden. The medical examiner said she had likely been sedated. There were faint needle marks. No signs of struggle. No defensive wounds. It was as if she'd simply waited. But for what? Then came the break. A forensic tech scanning old DMV files looking for matches came across a 2004 photo of a man named Richard Alton. It was a near-perfect match for the man in the sheriff's uniform from the neighbor's security footage. But there was a problem. Richard Alton had died in 2005. At least, that's what his death certificate said. He'd reportedly drowned in Arizona during a rafting trip. His body was never recovered. Digging deeper, investigators discovered something else. Richard Alton had once been engaged to Claire Whitman. They met in college. Broke up in 2001. And according to friends, the relationship ended badly. Very badly. Restraining order badly. But that history had been sealed. Claire never told her husband or her children. No one in her current life even knew Richard existed. And if he had died in 2005, how did he show up at her house 12 years later? A deeper search into Richard's background led to another startling find. The man who was declared dead in 2005 wasn't Richard Alton at all. He had faked his death. The raft accident had been staged. A friend had reported it. No body had ever been recovered. The friend? Also gone. Off the grid. No paper trail. No digital footprint. The only clue left behind was a motel registry from 2007 in Boise, Idaho, signed in Richard's handwriting, using a fake name. Now, the case turned from a missing persons investigation into a manhunt. The FBI got involved. Psychologists profiled the suspect. And a pattern began to emerge. Over the past decade, 5 other women had gone missing under eerily similar circumstances. All had past relationships with a man who matched Richard's description. Each had vanished after reporting a disturbance at their home. 2 were later found dead. 3 were still missing. Different states. Different years. Same method. But there was one more clue. Claire had kept a private journal. Hidden in a box in the attic, beneath old photo albums. It wasn't a diary, exactly. More like a set of letters. Unsent. Addressed to R. Some were dated just weeks before she disappeared. In them, she described seeing someone who looked like Richard near her workplace, her children's school, her grocery store. She wrote about the feeling of being watched. She'd gone to the police once. They dismissed it as paranoia. Said she was imagining things. One entry, dated 5 days before her disappearance, read, "If something happens to me, it's him. I know it is. I don't care what the death certificate says. He's not gone. He's just waiting." The journal was the final piece. A profile was broadcast nationally. Tips began pouring in. And then, someone called. From a payphone in Albuquerque. Said they'd seen a man who looked exactly like the photo, working under the table as a handyman. The FBI traced the call, but by the time they arrived, the man was gone. Left behind in the motel room was a sheriff's badge, a wig, and a burner phone. The last call made on that phone. Claire's number. The day before she vanished. To this day, Richard Alton has never been found. The FBI believes he may have changed his identity again. Or disappeared for good. Some think he's still watching. Still waiting. For what, no one knows. Claire's children, now grown, still live under new names, protected by the state. And every year, on the anniversary of her disappearance, someone sends a single black rose to their address. No note. No return address. Just a flower. Sometimes, the most terrifying stories aren't about ghosts or monsters. They're about real people. People who don't stay dead. People who know how to vanish, and how to wait. Like, subscribe, and share for more crime stories.